So the season 2 finale of Veronica Mars is almost the 20th anniversary. We in the TV critical media considered a top 10 episode of the 2000s. It wraps up about a dozen plots in the episode and creates an aspect for Veronica Mars' character. She's more than a heroine in this. She's a survivor of sexual abuse, of mental abuse, of pretty well physical abuse. So the episode we're talking about is Not Pictured. This is the second season finale of Veronica Mars, serving as the 22nd episode of the season and a 44th episode overall. Co-written by series creator Rob Thomas and John N. Baum, and directed by John Kretschmer. The episode premiered on UPN on May 6, 2006. In this episode, there's a lot going on. She eventually learns the identity of the person responsible for the Neptune High bus crash, her rape, and other crimes. Meanwhile, Veronica and her classmates graduate from high school, and Neptune reacts to Aaron Eccles, Harry Hamlin being acquitted. Of course, Aaron's son had wiped the tapes of her, Aaron having sex with the murder victim. Now, Not Pictured reveals that Cassidy Beaver Casablancas, played by Cal Gallner, as the perpetrator. You didn't see this coming until that last episode. He was behind the bus crash and Veronica's rape. The plot twist was planned since Beaver's introduction. The episode also features the final appearance of several characters, including Aaron Eccles, Beaver, Jackie Cook, Tessa Thompson, Duncan Kane, Teddy Dunn, and Woody Goodman, played by Steve Guttenberg, who tried to escape a la Fargo in the key scene. The episode will be the final episode of the show to air on UPN before switching to the CW. The final finale was critically acclaimed and is often called one of the best of the series and the best of episodic TV of the decade. Now, the second season revolves around a school bus that mysteriously goes off a cliff, killing 8 people. Now, you could watch the episode on Amazon Prime Canada, but for some reason on August 1st, this month, they took all 3 seasons off and only showing the terrible season 4. Now, throughout the season, Veronica investigates the murder, focusing on a variety of suspects, including the Fitzpatricks, Kendall Casablancas, and Terrence Cook, before turning his suspicion on Woody Goodman after he learns he's a child molester. Not Pictured solves the mystery through a plot twist. Meanwhile, Veronica previously dated Duncan Kane before he left with his baby daughter, whose mother was one of the bus crash victims, for Mexico. In addition, Aaron Eccles, the murder of Lily Kane, Duncan's sister, was acquitted on all charges. Now, after the Eccles trial, he is interviewed by the press and cheering fans. Veronica tells Keith that the Manning father has offered $20,000 for the capture of Woody. Veronica talks to Wallace about Jackie leaving. Keith visits Vinny in prison and they agree to track Woody down together. Veronica and Keith learn that Woody was treated for chlamydia. In a dream, Veronica shares a happy family breakfast before graduation with her mother still in the house and meeting Wallace for the first time that day before meeting Lily, who is looking at a memorial of her and still alive. Veronica then makes a fake call as Gia to Woody's lawyer. He reveals that Woody was living at the Quail Creek Lodge and her name Mr. Underhill because he needs these meds. At Veronica's graduation, Keith says he's going to chase Woody, and Mac, Tina Majorino, tells Veronica she's going to a hotel with Beaver that night. Now, the ongoing plot that Beaver basically is very platonic with Mac, and we find out very quickly why. Just before he can graduate, Weevil is arrested for the murder of Thumper. During the ceremony, of course, he didn't do it. Veronica graduates and says goodbye to Principal Clemens, played by Dwayne Daniels. Stay golden. Now, Keith then surprises Veronica with plane tickets to New York. Alicia Fennell tells Veronica that Wallace has left for Paris to track Jackie. Veronica then calls Jackie and tells her she knows she was never accepted to Sorbonne and asks her to meet Wallace in New York. At Woody's hiding place, Keith attacks and tasers him. However, Woody denies crashing the bus. Veronica sees a Little League team picture in Woody's restaurant, which suggests that Beaver was on Woody's baseball team and thus connected to the crash. And sort of like that Josh Hitchcock, quick pan in. Veronica dashes the after-graduation party. Beaver and Mac are about to have sex, but while she is in the shower, Beaver reads a text from Veronica to Mac warning her, and Beaver texts Veronica to meet her on the roof. Of course, Beaver can't perform, and Mac says, okay, we got all night. Aaron Eccles threatens Veronica in the elevator. Beaver then meets Veronica and puts a gun on her. Veronica explained her hypothesis that he killed Marcos and Peter so that he would not spill the news of their molestation, that he got explosives from David Curly Moran, convinced the PCHers that Curly destroyed the bus before killing Curly himself, also writing Veronica Mars on his palm. Veronica asks Beaver how she got chlamydia. Woody had it, and Beaver transmitted to her the night she was raped, revealing that he, not Duncan, raped her. Beaver's about to blow up the plane. It has both Woody and Keith on it, similar to our 1950s Quebecois murder where they made a bomb to put on the plane. Beaver pushes a button and there's a flash in midair. Very effective scene, by the way. Beaver tases Veronica, wanting her to then kill herself by jumping off the roof, then turning a gun on her before Logan appears. Having read the text Veronica had forwarded. The two steal Beaver's gun and he ends up committing suicide by stepping off the top of the roof instead of facing the consequence of his actions. Aaron and Kendall are on the couch in the hotel room, and while she's in the shower, Clarence appears and shoots him in the head, killing him. The scene moves to Australia, where we learn that Duncan organized the murder. Jackie meets Wallace and tells him she had to go back to New York, where she's actually from, in order to care for a 2-year-old son, whom she left with her mother, when she came to next June to reconnect with Terrence. Veronica learns that Keith is alive. He was not ever in a plane, but what he was. Kendall receives $8 million, as Cassidy basically gave her the money as part of her plan. Veronica and Logan rekindle their relationship. Kendall makes Keith a business proposal, and as a result, he misses their plane flight to New York. Of course, season 3, episode 1 takes care of that. Now, this is considered an extremely heartbreaking and heart-wrenching episode because a lot of people that are evil die or get killed off. You got Woody, you got Beaver, and you got Aaron Eccles, and now lead actor Kristen Bell, who deduced that Aaron Eccles was the killer in season 1, was unable to figure out the identity of the murderer in season 2 until it was told to her. You never ever see the show keep the killer in the main titles, adding that the writers think they're so smart, and they are. Actor Michael Mahaney, who plays Don Lamb, who was unfortunately killed off in season 3, expressed some anxiety over the course of the season that he would be the killer. However, Bell played a prank on Mooney, telling him she knew the killer was going to be Loretta Cancun, a minor character from the pilot. Bell said Mahaney only believed me for like a day. Kyle Gallner, who played as Beaver, did not know that his character was going to be the murderer until before the shooting of Not Pictured, when one of the costume designers told him about the reveal. I had no idea up until right before we shot the episode. They wouldn't tell me. The only reason I found out it was a wardrobe guy had gotten the script. He was like, "Do you want to know?" And I was like, "What?" And he kind of spilled the beans. So I had no idea. I thought it was more along the lines of I was younger than everybody, so I wasn't going to college. That's why it was only one season. I didn't know it was because the whole thing was going to happen, so I literally didn't know it probably a week before. Now, how this works, if you look back at the episode, the actor who plays Beaver, is suspicious, but we don't know it's because he's shy. But being a survivor of male rape, maybe he had a chip in his shoulder, and that makes a lot of sense. But he had to do a lot of exposition and flashbacks in that big episode, so he should have got a nomination for that. Now, in the original broadcast, did well on the ratings, 2.422 million, but only 98 to 109 in weekly ratings, but for UPN was pretty strong. This marked a decrease in viewers from the second season premiere, which had 3.29 million viewers. In the first season finale, Leave It to Beaver received 2.99. Now, critically acclaimed, many have called it one of the best episodes of the decade, and I think it's the best episode of Veronica Mars because it doesn't pander to the audience. Now, Television What a Pity gave it a B+. Price Peterson, writer for DV.com, gave a glowing review, the best yet episode of Veronica Mars. Now, there was only one thing that people found very strange. They felt that the possibility of Beaver killing Keith was kind of piling on, and a lot of people felt that Kirsten Bell knew that the character would survive, and she kind of overplayed it. And in a list of the 50 greatest TV shows of all time, Empire noted Not Pictured as the best episode of the series. So, to me, this is a top 10 or top 20 episode of the decade because it takes 2 years to figure out what's going on, and this is very tremendous. I always think, ladies and gentlemen, that Veronica Mars didn't really get enough of a backing even in Canada. They were showing episodes at 6 o'clock in the morning on the W network, and maybe because of female protagonists, but Veronica Mars is, and I helped produce the movie. I made a donation, as my wife did, to the Kickstarter campaign, so I'm a producer of the movie. and I really, really enjoyed this episode. But like I said, screw you, Amazon Prime, for taking off the 3 seasons and episodes, and they're not even worth for purchase. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're doing here with our TV reviews, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.